you're not the boss of me. Have you ever thought about saying that to your healthcare provider? Well, I don't actually suggest that you do that in that sort of manner, but I do suggest that you talk to your healthcare provider about how they see their role in your journey. Do they see themselves as the boss of you, that they need to make all the decisions and you need to comply or you can't be their patient? Or do they see themselves like I do as the tour guide on the path to your wellness goals? So just like when you go to a new city, you get on the tour bus, the role of the tour guide is to educate and inform you about different attractions that may make your trip more enjoyable. I'm Dr. Patty Barch. I'm a traditional naturopath and owner of Naturally Unbridled Wellness in Onalaska, Wisconsin. And I am going to talk today about the standard of care. Before I do that, if you have interest in the types of things I create videos on, including natural health, homesteading, healthy food, etc., just go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, share. All the things you can do to interact with this video on whatever platform you're watching it on helps these videos to go out to more people. So with that being said, let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is for your own self, you need to define what you consider the definition of the word health or healthy. And sometimes the reflex response is the absence of disease, but I don't think that's a great answer because I feel like better than just not having any diagnosis would be thriving and feeling happy and joyful and being able to move your body freely and those sorts of things. So ask yourself what the definition of health and healthy is first, and then consider asking your healthcare provider, what do you consider your role to be in this relationship, and what does that mean to you? So I'm going to be talking about the role of the healthcare provider. So technically they're a paid consultant, right? You're paying them for their expert opinion, just like you would pay an architect or a landscaper or a plumber to give you advice based on their education and experience. You are not required to take their advice just because you gave them money, because remember, you're giving them money for their advice, and it's up to you to decide if you want to take their advice or if you want to ask a different professional or go in a different way. Okay, so there's a situation in the medical model called the standard of care, and that's really what most of this video is going to be about. And the standard of care has come to be something different than it was, many years ago when I was a child. And the standard of care now is kind of a catch-22 for medical providers, because if they do not recommend what is called the standard of care, then they can actually get in trouble. They can get trouble in a few ways. So they can be sued for malpractice, and they can lose their medical license or their license to practice. So the standard of care is, I'm going to give you an example. So I have a client who had a stroke after she rolled up her sleeve a couple of years ago. And when they did all the scans, they found that she did not have a bleed, she did not have a brain bleed, and she did not have a blockage or high cholesterol. But the standard of care when someone has a stroke is to prescribe a blood thinner and a statin or cholesterol medication. So what she probably had was something called cerebral vasoconstriction syndrome, which there are research papers on connecting it to the pathogen, which you could infer could also be connected to the intervention. So that just means that the artery in her brain likely swelled and closed, or just cramped down and closed, cutting off the blood supply to the brain. Again, she did not have a brain bleed or a blood clot in her brain, but they put her on a blood thinner. And her blood cholesterol was fine. She did not have any obvious plaquing, but they put her on a statin or cholesterol medication. Now, there's something called, that's the standard of care, by the way. And there's something called statin-induced myalgia. Myalgia means muscle pain. And boy, does she have a profound case of statin-induced myalgia. But remember, her cholesterol was in the normal range when they put her on the statin. So just because it's a standard of care doesn't mean it's the perfect fit for every patient. The other thing that's driving me crazy is anyone who's diabetic, which is, let's face it, like more than half the country at this point. Anyone who's diabetic now, they put them on their blood sugar management, whether it's metformin or insulin or whatever, and now they're recommending that they go on a statin. They're recommending that they go on cholesterol medication, even if their cholesterol is at a healthy level, because most people with diabetes eventually develop high cholesterol. So now they're putting people on a drug that has a tremendous list of side effects for a condition that they don't have, just in case they get it. So this is the standard of care. Now, who creates the standard of care? Well, basically it comes down to the insurance industries, and the insurance industries in collaboration with the medical associations, who are fully sponsored, or when I say fully, I mean profoundly, but maybe not entirely, sponsored by the pharmaceutical industry. When the American Association of X Disease has their annual meeting, there will be pharmaceutical sponsors there, often giving presentations, having vendor booths, that sort of thing. In their journals, the pharmaceutical companies are profound advertisers. They're helping to pay to get the journals produced and sent out. So the pharmaceutical companies are directly involved with supporting the medical associations, and the medical associations work with the insurance companies to define what is called the standard of care. So then the problem becomes, not only are they prescribing drugs for conditions that the people do not have, but in certain cases where the medical doctor wants to run a specific test on a person, the insurance company can say no. The insurance company gets to say that you're not allowed to practice medicine in the way that you want to, Mr. or Ms. Medical provider. You must follow our rules and parameters based on our financial goals. So within the hospital systems, there are things called metrics that the medical providers must meet. I have this on firsthand knowledge from a friend who's a doctor and worked in the medical system for, I think, 25 years. And they have metrics. The metrics are units of measurement that they are supposed to meet. And that includes different categories of prescriptions. So they have to prescribe a certain amount of SSRI drugs for anxiety and depression. They need to prescribe a certain amount of blood pressure medicine. They need to prescribe a certain amount of cholesterol medicine. They need to have a certain level of compliance for people to roll up their sleeves. They need to have a certain level of compliance for colonoscopies and mammograms. If the medical provider does not meet their metrics, it comes as a financial hit to the hospital system they work for and for the medical provider themselves. The way this works is the insurance industry provides a rating score to the medical provider based on their metrics. If they do not meet the metrics for prescribing certain tests and certain pharmaceuticals, if they don't meet the metrics on that, their grading takes a hit. And when their grade takes a hit, the hospital is reimbursed on a different bracket level for the services they provide. And then subsequently, the bonuses and compensation plan for the medical provider are also negatively impacted because their rating went down. So it is not in their best interest for you to come in and say to them that you want to get off of all your prescriptions because the side effects are driving you crazy. And this is why people will tell me things like, I don't want to go to the doctor because they're just going to give me another prescription. And people will go to the doctor and their blood pressure medicine isn't working, so they put them on another one, and that one doesn't work, and they put them on another one. So I have people come in here on 3 different blood pressure medications, and they still have high blood pressure. What are you doing? So anyway, if you are looking for wellness solutions, there's a profound level of natural health practitioners across the globe. You can reach out to us at naturallyunbridled.com, and we can see if we can help you in one way or another. But fundamentally, the whole role of this video is just to let you know how the system works, so that you can feel empowered to decline. Because when I have a client who says to me, I hope they don't put me on a statin, or worse, I hope they don't make me take a statin. I'm like, they're not coming to your house every day, prying open your jaw and sticking that thing down your mouth like you're a German Shepherd, right? You are the one who gets to decide if that thing goes in your body. Now, if they diagnose a condition that you need support with, you get to decide if you want to go with their recommendations or if you want to find another way to address the underlying cause. Because when you get down to the fundamental definition of health, they might think that it's just that your labs look good on paper and not so much about how you feel and how you're going through your life on a daily basis. So that's just making this video long enough. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of the things to interact with this video so that more people get to see it. So thanks. Peace out, peeps. Have a healthy day.